You know what sucks about being the vanguard of a thing? You know, like the tip of a spear. You always want it to get dented. You want it to get hurt. You want those people to be afraid and get scared and get smashed against a wall, you know, so that everybody's like, yeah, that's what happens when you're the vanguard, you know. So they can all, you know, remind you of what Viktor Frankl said in A Man's Search for Meaning. You know. I don't understand these anti-Semites sometimes, you know. Well, I mean, I don't at all, okay? But, you know, why don't anti-Semites ever talk about Viktor Frankl's book? I mean, if you want to talk shit about Jews, Viktor Frankl is the one who said, you're the vanguard, the first ones to sacrifice themselves for their family and for their friends, for the others. They're the ones that pay first, you know. The worst of us survived is actually what Viktor Frankl said. He wasn't saying that you're bad, you know. He's a German and Hebrew speaker who was speaking in English in his book about logotherapy. Yeah. Isn't that cool how he called it logotherapy? Self-talk. You know, rational self-analysis. Crowhog. You care, you're responsible, you're open-minded, you're willing, you're honest, you have humility, you're objective, and you have gratitude. You gotta remember, nature doesn't pay her own gratitude, so that's what you are. So you're paying it, you know. Yeah. It's Crowhog. It's from Ardap. I like it though. I like it a lot. That's why it's pretty hard to listen sometimes to certain rationales that try to make you give up on everything good. Go somewhere else and get something better. What does that mean? What are you talking about? All life has intrinsic value. If you can't love your own family, or whose family are you trying to love, man? All I have left is humanity, so that's my family. And I love everybody, you know. What? Oh yeah, I put this. I don't know. Sometimes I put things on my wall that I just like. That's my toll. I'm sorry. Hey, you know, people put their faces on the YouTube. You know, they're really narcissistic. They're in love with their own reflections in this black mirror. You know. Why not join the club, right? Except for I'm not a part of that club at all. I want every loving human being that wants family to flee from this fucking thing and go make eye contact with other people. It ups the chances that I'll make eye contact with somebody who, you know, appreciates my existence. You know, in real life, though. You know, I was on the BART. This was last year, and there was like a 15-year-old kid there. He had one of his ears uncovered from his headphones, which you would think would be, you know, so that you could be aware of your surroundings. But I, you know, was polite enough to ask, "Hey, you got one of those ears off so you can hear everybody, huh?" And he's just like I'm the dumbest person alive. You know. Well, I come from a time when you didn't even have to ask anybody those questions because 85% of the population wasn't walking around with fucking earphones in all the time, kid. So you might not know, but there was a time when humans actually treated each other with respect and dignity that they really took for granted. So that'd be why your attitude sucks. I know you weren't there when that happened, which is why your attitude sucks. But your elders are actually worthy of respect, you know. It's not something you want to learn on the other end of a lifetime of, you know, treating people like dog shit, so that you know, have to look back and go, dang, you know, we shouldn't have done that. You know, sucks when it doesn't matter to anyone if you regret or feel remorse for what you did, and that you wish you could take it all back. It sucks when no one gives a fuck, you know, to where you put both those headphones on. Hey kid, nice headphones. Yeah, you're not alone. You're surrounded by 85% of the population who feel exactly the same as you do. Why are you so unrelatable?